We've made the commitment to be at the Spa Castle on all of the equinoxes and solstices. And so we're inviting you. Do you want to come with us? Friday, September 22nd, to the Spa Castle for a day-long deluge in deliciousness. I just decided to keep the D's. Keep the D's, baby. It's a Friday, so you have to take off for work. I work for myself, so I'm giving myself permission to take off. We'll talk more about this at our next Soul Sister Series event on August 13th. But we want you all to come out with us and share with us the fall equinox and what that means. On August 13th, we will be interacting with our Spirit of Intimacy book for the last time. This has been our summer read and our summer meditation. And I read this during the winter, and Bay read it in the winter, and I'm really, really glad that we went forward and built the Soul Sister Series Summer Edition around it.
Yeah.
Because I learned so much by all the women we've been talking to.
Yeah.
Like, it got deeper and complex and really has been helpful. I feel like I've had breakthroughs in my relationship, and a big part of it
It's been sharing.
Sharing
and learning from the discussions.
So one of the big things, or one of the themes throughout the book is ritual. And so we're going to talk about at our last summer day, August 13th, about ritual and conflict and intimacy. So she talks about intimacy in the ash circle, and she's talking about a physical circle where you have ash and then the couple gets in the circle. The Dagara people believe that when two people share a spirited and balanced, intimate life, they have the power to raise a healing energy for everything around them. For this reason, a couple might dedicate their sacred intimacy to some higher purpose, in addition to the well-being of their own relationship. I mean, this shit is deep. A couple's intimacy is not about the pursuit of pleasure. It is the pursuit of a kind of power that only spirit can give in a sacred context. It's not going to be found on a public road or in a village circle. It's going to be in the ash circle, in a place turned into a shrine, an altar, a sacred space. By creating a sacred space, we open ourselves to other spirits, and we give ourselves permissions to completely open up to another. We allow ourselves to be our true self and to be fully present. The couple in the sacred space is there because they have first admitted that they don't know what they are doing. They move themselves into that place in order to enable spirit to come and be their teachers. That's some deep shit.
The last time I talked to Francis about this, we talked about rituals that we do in our everyday lives, and the routines that we keep up with, and then I wanted to talk about what makes them sacred or not sacred.
Mm-hmm. Well, what rituals did you and Francis point out? And I want to say the spiritual ones.
Because I always wanted to try, and I still want to, I'm not going to say that I've given up on it, having us pray together.
Yeah.
Right? And, he will say sometimes I do give thanks or I pray, but I think to myself, and I've done this too, but I realize it more because you realize it when you talk to people, when you get things out. I'm like, we need to recognize, when we come together and acknowledge that we are saying, I'm calling in this person and pouring water, and you are a witness to everyone doing it, that it means something.
Right.
It doesn't, not to say it doesn't mean anything when you give thanks and you're by yourself, but if we're together, let's do it together.
Community.
Yeah. We're in this, committed relationship. And there isn't a whole lot of, aside from the wedding and, there isn't a whole lot of, and the anniversary, there isn't a whole lot of sacred spiritual acknowledgement that happens on a regular basis to honor that spirit. And this is so much about this, not just, at some point she says, it's not just saying yes once, it's saying yes, over and over again.
So what's so funny is, rereading this, and I wouldn't have identified it, and you didn't identify it, but she makes the argument that sex is a ritual that connects and combines. But we don't see it as sacred.
Right.
We see it as sexual. So many times, and we'll kind of see this with TV. Sex is like fast, like oh my god, oh right. And so there's no time for sacredness there. And so like even the idea of slowing it down, like even the idea of slowing it down, getting your breath in sync with one another, getting present, staying present. I saw this on Instagram yesterday. This man was like, a chick could get off with her vibrator in 3 minutes, but after 20 minutes of you stroking, she still talk about she ain't there yet. And I was like, ooh, why he did it? Why he went there? Ah! What I thought to myself is that when she's using a vibrator, she's there. She's there here. She's like, this is intentional.
Right.
I am
she
ready.
Knows what she's doing, what she has to do.
I'm setting this up. I already know. She already knows like what she needs to be thinking or hearing or seeing or everything or feeling. Like I already know all of that. So that's why I can take 3 minutes. But when I'm with another person who I'm not in sync with, who doesn't know this about me and I don't know this about them, and we're not taking the time and we're not breathing and we're not doing any of those things, it's going to take 20 minutes or more. Right. Or never.
Because you're bringing in a whole other spiritual energy into your...
I love it. So now that's one side, right? The intimacy side. And then the other one is the conflict. And in chapter 11, she calls conflict a spirit gift. Hey, whoo, conflict.
Yep.
A gift.
Yes.
She starts by saying conflict grows out of challenges that are presented by spirit. It is a gift meant to help us move forward. It is through conflict that we gain knowledge of ourselves and learn new situations for using our own gifts. Conflict is a wake-up call sent by spirit to remind us of the purpose we are here to fulfill. In an indigenous context, it is seen as a blessing. It should not be nurtured. It should be listened to, and proper steps should be taken to address the spirit behind the conflict. Yeah. Two humans together are always prone and vulnerable to some form of conflict or other. Without conflict, everything is going to look pretty boring, but dwelling in conflict will make everything pretty sour. So there is a need for a constant balancing, and the ingredient for that balancing is ritual.
For me, I do a lot of work with discerning conflict that I'm having because of my own personal shit, or conflict that I'm having because something's trying to tell me something. Something is trying to, the conflict is there because of a blockage that I have created, usually to keep myself safe from confronting something that, once that blockage is removed, I'm probably more capable and more open and more whole than I was before. But it's the process of understanding that that conflict is a gift. Because we're, again, not trained to think of conflict as a blessing or a gift or a teaching. Fight with, because like when she says it should not be nurtured, it should be listened to. I like to nurture some shit.
I'm gonna say Ashe on that, because I think most women like to nurture some shit. She goes on to say conflict usually comes when things start to stagnate, when our ego and controlling self start to take over our relationship. Yeah. Conflict is a notice that spiritual energy is being stopped and needs to move. There are many ways of communicating problems to those who can help us. Some people, for instance, are very gifted in their ability to communicate through dreams and can use it as a way to connect with others. People who know us and care about us usually have an open channel for us at all times. If we are clear in our message, however we send it, they can send us the kind of help we're looking for. So a girlfriend came over to my house. We went out for dinner this week. And she was in conflict with her significant other, and we were going through it, and I was offering a different position than she had felt, and by the end of the night, and definitely by the next day, she was very thankful for it, and it reminded me that as women, sometimes like the conflict don't need to go to him. It needs to go to other people who can help you transform it. My significant other does not have the capacity to take in all of my shit. Just like I don't have the capacity to take in all of his shit.
Right.
And nor should we both have to take in all of each other's shit.
Right.
That there has to be another place. And for me, it's the Soul Sister series, and it's my girlfriends and the closeness, and it's like, this is the place where I can put all of it, because there's so many of us that we can all carry it.
Right.
You know, when we sit at that table, it's 10, 12 of us, we can all carry the weight of one person's shit. And then we can all take pieces and say, okay, well, this and this and this. But it's unfair to try to have one person carry all of that.
Yeah.
And that, and she says it throughout the book, like that is the thing about Western love and relationships, that they make it seem that two people can make this relationship work.
Right. Yep.
No, you're going to need about 200. You're going to need about 200 people to make one relationship work. Our fall book this fall is You Look Like Something Blooming, a memoir of divination, seeds to cultivate your feminine garden and temple. Let me tell you something. This is a weird book. Okay? No, I have to tell you that.
I love weird.
It's not like this. It's not like this. It is different. And I like to say that it is, so let me read it, right? The author, right? I am a highly feminine woman, unfixed in my femininity, bending, weaving, waddling, diving, leaping, spreading, spraying, dripping with femininity, courageously shape-shifting into a serpent, a pharaoh, a goddess of love, a warm and transformative ocean, a fairy with wings, passion fruit, Oshun's daughter, a 7-year-old mathematician, a wood nymph, a deer, an altar, an elder, a person, a mother, a jackhammer, a herbalist, glitter and starlight, ageless, timeless, spaceless, formless, embodiments of royal movement. Sometimes it's growing my ass, thickening my fingers, or rounding out my face, heightening my youth, to get the medicine inside, because anything that stagnates dies.
I haven't read it. You've read it. I have ordered it.
You see
I can't
all
wait to
my
get
outlines.
it. I am so excited by that description.
So this is not for the faint of heart, and it is not for the church girl. It is not for anyone who is caught up in respectability politics, or caught up in having a framework of femininity or black femininity or womanhood that fits in a box. So this is our fall book to take us in, not for the faint of heart, but in September, this is what we'll be reading. You Look Like Something Blooming, and we invite you to come out with us in September, October, and November as we dig through this text.
Soul Sister Series, in pursuit of a pleasure-filled life, though shit keeps on happening.